And joining us now out of London is Mr. Reza Vedadi, academic, researcher, and author. Hello, Reza. Good to check in with you again. Hope you're safe and doing well out there in the British capital. Your thoughts on this letter inked by Iran's foreign minister to the UN, and where you think this letter may reach, and why or why not, or may achieve. Pardon.
Thank you for inviting me to speak on your show. I think the letter and these kind of letters that Iran engages with the international organizations and bodies don't necessarily have a direct action by these bodies, and we have seen numerous times IAEA, UN Security Council, they do not follow the letter of the law condemning actions by the Israeli regime and the United States government in attacking Iranian infrastructure, unprovoked attack, acts of aggression, breaking international law, and attacking civilian targets like hospitals, the IRIB, the broadcasting house, civilian apartments, other infrastructure, as well as a very dangerous facility, which is the peaceful nuclear facility in Iran, where that damage could have caused decades and decades of radiation leak, not only for the Iranian nation, which in itself is a big provocation, but also against neighboring countries that are not party to the conflict between Iran and these oppressive countries. So Iran, I believe, is following the law by writing to these organizations these letters, and what they want to do is they want to show the global South, because many countries before were on the fence, as in, is Israel oppressive country? Is Israel a country that is causing problems, or are we being too harsh? But we have seen in the last 2 years with the ongoing genocide and Holocaust in Gaza, that Israel has always had in its DNA the oppressive system and to attack all of these countries around them to maintain itself, because there's a colonial outpost of the West, especially the United States and Europe. And so Iran is writing these letters to show the global South, other countries that have been on the fence, that look, we as a nation are following all the laws that have been laid down in the last 70, 80 years after the Second World War by these major powers. And yet they're the ones who are breaking the same laws that they have brought into place. So you as a country who's not party to this conflict, can you see where justice is and where injustice is? And so I think this is the soft power of Iran, which I believe in the last 2 weeks since that unprovoked attack has seen a surge of followers. People I speak to in the UK, people I speak to around the world, everyone, most of the people, unless they are invested emotionally and financially with the Zionist project, are 100% on the side of Iran, saying that Iran has been attacked. Iran is the one who's defending the Palestinians. Iran is the only country defending the Palestinians, the Muslims, and all these other Muslim countries, their leaders are asleep as the Israel attacks and kills and maims as it wills, and the United States supports it. So I believe these letters are needed, even though they won't have a direct impact, but they're needed to show other countries that Iran is a law-abiding country within the world system.
And I guess that's one way to look at it, and that's probably the best way to look at it, Reza. It's just the thing, the fact that the law sides with Iran as a victim of aggression, unprovoked aggression against the country, but it will mean nothing in the end, to your point, when these two entities we're talking about that are involved in this aggression are literally getting away with genocide just a few, less than 1,200 kilometers away from here.
That's right. And I think Iran, I've spoken to people who are active in the Hollywood, in Western mainstream legacy media, right? And academics in the West, in the UK. And in the last 2 years, where we've seen numerous provocations from Israel and the United States, where they've attacked Iran, they've attacked Iranian embassy, sovereign territory in Syria and other cases. And these people that I've spoken to are becoming more anti-Zionist. They're becoming more pro-Iran because they're seeing that Iran is a responsible actor. And we've seen for decades since the Islamic Revolution, these countries, these Western media and academic and organizations that promote soft power have tried to depict Iran as a rogue state. In many cases, they've actually used the term rogue state. As you remember in 2002, the George Bush speech, where he called Iran and a few other countries the axis of evil. However, they've come to see, and this is not Iran spending billions through media and academic sponsorship. They're just seeing the reality that Iran is the only responsible actor amongst these 3-4 countries that are causing havoc around the world. And so I think that it's interesting that Iran, in the last 12 days, we saw that Iran has become a country where 2-3 years ago, if you remember, they were protesting these kind of sponsored protests to say we need the overthrow of the government because of what happened with Mahsa Amini, and we need to bring back, for example, Reza Pahlavi, who has no support anywhere in Iran. But now you see protests in Vienna, protests in London, protests in America, all across Europe, across the world. People raising the Iranian flag with the Allah in the middle, the actual Iranian flag, in support, and none of them have been sponsored. None of them have been asked for them to come out. They have come off their own free will. So people are waking up to the reality that Iran actually stands up for justice, as opposed to this lie that was created about it, that it's a rogue and dangerous state.
All right, Reza, thanks for joining us, bud, and stay safe out there in London. Reza Bidadi, academic researcher and author there, joining us.